Op art, short for optical art, is a style of visual art popularized in the 1960s that uses optical illusions to trick the eye. Op art works are abstract, with many better-known pieces created in black and white. Typically, they give the viewer the illusion of movement, hidden images, flashing and vibrating patterns, or of swelling and warping. Bridget Riley and Victor Vasarely are its most famous examples of op artists. Bridget Riley was born in 1931 in London, England, and her pieces were mainly black and white. Victor Vasarely was born in 1906 in Hungary, but grew up in Paris, France. He used more color in his artwork. For supplies, you're going to need plain paper, a pencil with an eraser, some sort of circle template about 5 inches in diameter. The tops to cheese containers work, or masking tape, and some sort of coloring supplies. I prefer colored pencils for this project. Black Sharpie or pen. On the right side of your paper, I want you to trace around the circle template, and then with a slight overlap, trace the second circle to the left. Then eyeball the center of each circle and make a little guide mark. Then trace the third circle in between those 2 guide marks that you made. Now to erase. On the right circle, erase from the guide mark down to the bottom line of the circle. And then on the left circle, erase from that guide mark to the top of the circle. Next, erase where those 2 circles intersect. Now with your pencil, connect the top of the left circle to the bottom of the right circle. It's going to start to look a little bit like a twist. Now using your eraser again, you're going to erase this top line segment on the right side, and then this bottom line segment on the left side. Now, using your Sharpie or the black pen, you're going to trace over all of those remaining pencil lines that we haven't erased. I prefer a Sharpie because it doesn't smudge. If you are using a Sharpie, make sure you put another piece of paper underneath your artwork so that it doesn't ruin your desktop. And make sure to take your time. This isn't a race. And because I'm sure your tracing isn't perfectly over your pencil line, you can now go back and erase any pencil lines that are still showing. Starting in the center of the right circle, make a deep smiley line connecting to the center line. Make sure it's not too shallow. And remember, draw light until you get it right. Then do a deep frowny line from the center to the middle of the left circle, like so. On the right side, you're now going to start making a series of curved lines radiating from the center of that circle to the outer circle. Make sure to keep those lines nice and deep curves. Have you noticed how many math terms we've been using in this lesson? What? Math in art? I love it. Now we're going to do another series of curved lines, but this time they'll be radiating out of this very center of our design. Now we're going to start on the left side of our design. Once again, just like the last step, we are going to be radiating those curved lines out from the very center of our design. To the left this time, though. I want you to make sure you keep that nice deep curve all the way around. Our last step with the radiating lines now moves over to the center of that left circle. So we're going to be radiating those lines out from the center of that out to the outer edge, mimicking that original line all the way around the outside of my design. Now, when it gets a little tricky when we get down here near the bottom, so you're going to kind of just fudge it a little. Now we have all of our pencil lines done, so take your juicy Sharpie and you're going to trace over all of those pencil lines as best as you can. And of course, you're not going to be perfect tracing those lines. That's why we have erasers. Now to start the coloring. I'm using colored pencils because it gives me a little more flexibility when we want to add highlights near the end, but you can use markers or crayons if you would like. You're going to pick 3 or 4 colors. I happen to like patterns of 3, and you're going to make a repeating pattern. Now, make sure you color neatly. That's a pet peeve of mine. Now, if you're super motivated, you could go back in after you're done coloring and use your eraser. You're going to have to really bear down and create some highlights around some of the edges, just in a couple spots, maybe a little curve to it. You could even go back with a little bit of a black colored pencil and add a shadow to sections as well. And there we have it. If I were to put on my future glasses, your artwork might look something like this. I can't wait to see what you come up with.